Hello to all you siren fans on YouTube. Today will be a tutorial on how to wire up your RCM 1 A or B to your AF or ARCH panel, and basically how everything works in it. I've been studying this RCM 1 for the past 2-3 months now, experimenting with it. This is a 3-phase RCM 1A. The difference between an RCM 1A and RCM 1B is one is 3-phase and one is single-phase. And the way you can tell is, for one, I know I shouldn't have set you guys down, but this is the panel to an RCM 1A. If you look down at it, the nameplate, it's going to be a really bad shadow. It will say RCM 1A. The blower this Thunderbolt had was a Series A2 blower, but it's a Series A2 Thunderbolt siren. And anyway, so it had big blowers, but not as big as an A1 blower. It was a 10 horsepower model, 208 through 240 volts, 35 amps. But do not get that confused. The Thunderbolt itself took 35 amps. You do not need 35 amps or 3-phase to run your panel alone. Then at 60 hertz power. This is a RCM2 nameplate. So just to get an idea of how big the panel is, or how small RCM2 is compared to RCM1, because not a lot of people have an RC2. That's an RCM1 cover compared to a square Stratocaster, and this is a RCM2. Nameplates are the same size though. So let's get back to over by the panel. As you can see, an RCM1 has 3 inputs up here. If you're to power your RCM1 for testing, you only need to use L1 and L2. L3 is just for the blower 3-phase. L1 and L2 go to the rest of these, because the rest of these are single-phase. So if I pop off the covers, which you never do if power is supplied to it, because these things would be live, there would be power right here, and you don't want to shock yourself. If we go over to this one here, this is the chopper. Right here, this is the chopper's motor starters. Notice it's a size 0. The blower's a size 1, because it takes a lot of voltage to run one of them beasts. I know this chopper motor starter isn't screwed in anymore, so it's kind of hard to pop off without breaking the starter itself. There we go. As you can see, these 3-phase blower starter and the regular single-phase Thunderbolt chopper starter look nearly the same. And here's Andrew, my brother, coming in to watch a little, but now he's coming back out. These are both, one's 3-phase, one's not. As I said earlier, he threw me off track. But the way you can tell is, well, the heaters, this one has 3 heaters to follow each of the phases, because each phase has to be identical, otherwise it'll throw the whole motor off, and the motor doesn't like everything not being the same. But with this one, I'm turning it back, sorry, this is a bad video. This has something to do with the chopper, the contactor, like telling whether it's contacted in or not. Yeah, I live by train tracks, but so if you could hear the train horn. But anyway, this would have electricity, and then this would click in, jumping it to here, and then down there to where it goes out to these heaters, and then goes out to the siren. Well, these are your resets. Everyone has a reset, even the rotator there, which I didn't take the cover off yet. But the reason why the chopper looks exactly like the blower one, even though the blower is not 3 phases, because the agostat is connected to the chopper, and this is the time delay. So whenever you have your chopper kick out, let's say the AF timer's running an attack there, when the attack cycles down, Aegostat kicks in for the amount of seconds that you have it set for, keeping these engaged so the motors do not get stressed, and it keeps the signal going. Otherwise, not everybody would hear an attack going on because the rotator would stop. So these fall off the Aegostat. So once it's clicked in, this thing's charging up because it's a pneumatic. Time delay, I'm pretty sure I saw it was, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But this charges up for the amount of seconds it needs, so when this drops out, it starts to decrease its whatever it does to time delay till it's at the time that you wanted it to go, and then it'll shut these off. So this fouls it off. So when the chopper disconnects, it knows to start because it's not receiving voltage from the chopper anymore. And this is your chopper motor transformer. There's all different leads going into the inside coil of the transformer for all different taps. I can't name. This is the common, and then it has all up to 7 different chopper pitches. The higher the voltage, the higher the pitch of the chopper, which looks somewhat like this. This is a 2T. So you do a common, and then whatever pitch you wanted it to be at. Like Federal, we sent them out on with chopper number 5. They recommended always on, so they sent them out like recommending 5. This is your blower leads coming from here. You'd go down to here. After you have an Aegostat does not play into the voltage going from here to there. The Aegostat plays in the voltage going from here to the motor starter itself. The electromagnet goes to the electromagnet like the Aegostat to keep it engaged. Not like the electricity, it doesn't add electricity to the blower circuit going in. I know this might be a little confusing, but now if we go to the rotator, you can clearly tell this is a 3-phase rotator because you're missing a leg of your phase. So these two are your single, and that would be what the starter follows off of to see if it's engaged or not. And these two would be your 2 phases, and they come down to the rotator circuits. Now you would attach them to these two. Well, you'd attach them to these two. This would be if you have a 3-phase rotator, because some Thunderbolt models did come with a 3-phase rotator. So this would be for the third leg of the 3-phase coming from the rotator starter, that terminal. So I covered most of it, but we got to talk about the switches yet. The switches, basically this will flip from the control to test. So you can test like the chopper, that would kick in, telling this motor starter up there to kick in. And then you could do a blower test, and the blower motor starter would kick in, sending power to the blower. Then rotator's the kind of neat one out of all of them. This is a 3-way switch instead of a 2-way switch like the rest of these are. So you can either choose for it to be in the test position and the rotator starter would kick in and then start rotating the Thunderbolt rotator, or you could just choose it to be off. So if the F timer would send the attack signal or alert signal or fire or test, it wouldn't let power go to the coil of the rotator. So, and then automatic is when it allows power to go from the, well, you only have one choice. It's always on automatic, otherwise your center would always be going off if it was on test. Unless you had the control itself on automatic, and then the center would basically be off, I'm pretty sure. But that's basically it, and then it's not really too much to see underneath it. They have all one side, like wired in unison, kinda, in a way. I'll show you what I mean here. I think if I can... No, I can't flip it over because I have it attached to the AF timer. So, yeah, 10 minutes. That's basically how the RCM 1 works. You have your fuses up here. I didn't quick do that yet. The fuses are both 10 amps to give you 30 amp total of power there. And right here is where the AF timer is hooked up to the RCM1, and then that would be to set it off automatically, like by pressing one of the buttons on the AF timer. So, yeah, now I'm done. That's basically it on the RCM1. Next will be on how the AF timer works and how it is hooked up to the RCM1. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and that's it. Thank you.